One of the biggest bombshells has been dropped as NASCAR Hendrick Motorsports are going to enter the 2023 24 Hours of Le Mans. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to your video. As I just mentioned, one of the biggest announcements of the year has officially dropped as it was announced just a few minutes ago that NASCAR Hendrick Motorsports and Chevrolet will field a modified next-gen car at the 2023 24 Hours Le Mans. It will be a special Garage 56 entry, and this will be the first time since 1976 that NASCAR has entered the 24 Hours of Le Mans. To give a backstory on the special Garage 56 entry, it's going to be its own next-gen class. It will not be part of they will not be part of like the GT class in the 24 Hours Le Mans next year. But they will have their own special class, and they will enter for the first time. Chad Knaus is going to oversee the group. Rick Kendrick also mentioned at the press conference today that they would like to have an active Cup driver. He did say he has not talked to Jimmy Johnson about it, and they are also saying maybe Jeff Gordon will be part of that. This is a massive and a huge announcement. I don't think people understand the gravity of how big of a deal this is. The NASCAR Cup car, the next-gen car, is supposed to be a car that is extremely durable. And this is going to be a very big test for how durable this next-gen car can be. Like I mentioned, this car is supposed to be really durable, but how far can this car go? Now, like I said, NASCAR's had a presence in the 24 Hours of Le Mans, but it's been 47 years since it has entered. And you think about the prestige of the 24 Hours of Le Mans. The 24 Hours of Le Mans is probably one of the top 2 or 3 biggest events out there. And if you win Le Mans, you make history. It's a massive event. Everybody knows what the 24 Hours of Le Mans is. Regardless if you're a guy who knows motorsports or not, you know how big of the gravity of it is. The story of the Ford GT when it went out there and won there. Ford versus Ferrari, if you watch that movie, you know what that is. Anybody knows what the 24 Hours of Le Mans is. And there's actually a little bit of backstory behind it. Chad Knaus was in Le Mans last year, and we got to see a picture of him being there in Le Mans, and I think this is behind it. Now, a big question around this is, will there be active Cup drivers involved in this? Well, Rick Kendrick did say at the press conference, like I said, they like to have an active Cup driver and around that stuff. Let's talk about something else about the future of this and maybe in IMSA. Now, John Doonan said during the press conference today as well that we may see a next-gen, said we'll see on a potential next-gen class at Daytona. Now, it won't be in 2023 if there is going to be a next-gen class, but the potential of a next-gen class at the Daytona 24 Hours in 2024 is massive and huge. And another thing we'll talk about here a little bit is Rick Kendrick says the Hendrick is looking at potentially making an expansion to sports cars. Now, we talked about this on the channel, I think, a couple weeks ago during the first or second week of the season, how Hendrick Motorsports is looking to potentially expand to other motorsports. IndyCar's been one that's been brought to mind. But you also have to think about a potential sports car program that they are looking at. And Hendrick Motorsports does have some presence in sports cars. Look at the Action Express team. The 48 Action Express car is a Hendrick-based car. That's Chad Knaus overseeing that operation. And on top of that, they have Hendrick pit crew members that work in Hendrick Motorsports team that do the pit crew work for them, as they will be doing that as well here at the 12-hour Sebring. And then probably some of those pit crew members are going to fly out to Atlanta Motor Speedway, which is really not that far from Florida. People don't realize how big this is. This is definitely one of the biggest announcements I think we've had all year long. Like I said, the prestige and the gravity of this event and having a NASCAR Cup Series car enter the 24 Hours Mall. Yes, it's going to be in its own class, and don't get me wrong, I like to definitely see, them do like NASCAR to go to Sebring. Because I think a lot of people wanted NASCAR to go to Sebring and have a race there, but there was potential that a race be gone right there. But at the same time, the gravity in the thing about this is, this is going to be huge for NASCAR going into next year. Now, they still have to get approved from the ASO. That's one of the groups that does the 24 Hours a month. But the president of the ASO was at this press conference, so they're probably going to get approved. It will be announced. It's a formality right now, and it will be announced potentially very, very soon. It doesn't really get announced till January if they'll be approved or not. But when the president of the ASO is there, you know it's most likely going to get improved. But this is definitely one of the biggest stories of a long time. It feels like GTA Arcade, the Gran Turismo Arcade. If you played like old classic Gran Turismo games, like Gran Turismo 4 and Gran Turismo 5, you could take NASCAR Cup cars, or like in Forza, where you can take NASCAR Cup Series cars over there. This is huge. And yes, I know it's its own special class, and a lot of people thought, well, what's the point of it? Well, it's, like I said, going to be a huge test of endurance for the Cup Series next-gen car. Since, of course, these cars only go, the next-gen cars only go for 3 or 4 hours at most, and we've seen a lot of endurance and stuff. What this will be able to do is show how well this car can go. Now, like I said, NASCAR has entered the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the past, but they did enter 1976, and they really have never been able to successfully compete. And yes, it will be in their own class, but this announcement is absolutely huge for NASCAR. The fact that they're going international, and they've been looking at trying things with this next-gen car, because this next-gen car is supposed to be able to do that. And going back to the future of them potentially entering the 24 Hours of Daytona, that's also really, really huge. I know a lot of people have been saying about them NASCAR wanting to enter the 24 Hours of Daytona. A lot of people are thinking maybe this announcement was going to be a next-gen class in IMSA, and there's talk about that, which is really, really huge. Now, another big question in regards to this announcement is what drivers are they going to look at to enter the 24 Hours of Le Mans? They're going to probably have 4 guys entered. There's no drivers being announced today. They did not announce that because they still have not made official announcement, which makes a lot of sense. Like I mentioned a few minutes ago at the beginning of this episode, Rick Hendrick did say that he liked having an active Cup driver, but Steve Phelps did mention that it will be determined on the scheduling of next year. Now, Le Mans, I don't remember exactly what next year's Le Mans day. If it is during that off week, perhaps, then maybe they could go ahead and maybe they'll have that off week schedule next year in between. So if Cup guys in Hendrick Motorsports want to compete in that, that probably could happen. But if I'm looking at a lineup for this program, you want to get a star-studded lineup to enter this. First driver I think that will be put in is Jimmy Johnson. Now, Jay said that Jimmy Johnson's been talked about, but Jimmy Johnson has been competing IMSA this last 2 years with Action Express Racing, which of course has a Hendrick backing in that 48 car. And Jimmy Johnson also been competing in IndyCar as well with Chip Ganassi Racing. And he's been doing more of these higher downforce, lower downforce races, or higher downforce or whatever, how much downforce there is, low downforce races, and getting into like the bigger cars. And he's been doing IMSA for the last 2 years now. So, and he's done, of course, the 24 Hours of Le Mans in the 24 Hours Daytona in the past. But Jimmy Johnson competing in the 24 Hours of Le Mans would absolutely be huge. He's the first one, plus a 7-time Cup Series champion, and potentially could have a big weekend here in Texas, where the IndyCar Series with that track, Milwaukee might be taking over for that, or over Texas here in the near future. The second driver I'd like to see, and this is a throwback, Ron Fellows. Now, Ron Fellows is a driver who's a legend to the IMSA scene, has competed in the NASCAR Cup, Xfinity Series, and Truck Series, has won truck races, has won Xfinity Series races, but also has won the 24 Hours Daytona back in 2001 with the Corvettes, because all the IMSA big cars basically got destroyed. The Daytona prototypes or whatever they were back in 2001, they basically fell out of the race. And that would be a great driver to choose from, because I know Ron Fellows is in his 60s, don't get me wrong, but he would absolutely be a great choice, a legend of the sport. He'd be my second choice for the lineup. The third driver would be Jeff Gordon. Now, Rick Hendrick was joking about maybe trying to get Jeff Gordon back and shave us up, but Jeff Gordon would be absolutely huge to get back in this car. I know a lot of people like to see Jeff Gordon. I know Jeff Gordon said maybe be interested in getting in the next-gen car for like the Busch Light Clash, but sometimes he also said he didn't want to get in at points. But Jeff Gordon would be a great choice to have, especially since again, the last time Jeff Gordon competed in racing, to my knowledge, was the 2017 24 Hours of Daytona with the Wayne Taylor Racing team, the Canoka Minolta team, and he ended up actually winning that in 2017, yes, in very controversial fashion in the 24 Hours Daytona, but he was able to win that. He's a legend, 4-time NASCAR Cup Series champion, 3rd winningest driver in NASCAR Cup Series with 93 victories, and has won every major event that you could win in the NASCAR Cup Series. And there was one point he thought maybe he could do the Indy 500 or even go to Formula 1. He'd be a great choice for that. And if we're going to talk about an active Cup Series driver, I look no further than 2021 NASCAR Cup Series champion Kyle Larson. Now, a lot of people are going to say, well, why Kyle Larson and not another driver in the team? Of all 4 drivers that are in Hendrick Motorsports round in the Cup Series, Kyle Larson would absolutely be the perfect choice. There is a lot of talk that Kyle Larson could enter the 2023 Indianapolis 500. He won't be entering it this year due to it being way too late. But Jeff Gordon said they'd be able to back him up in doing that. He's talking about entering the 2023 Indy 500. I think it's potential that they could do it to go into that Team Penske group and get into one of their rides as a 4th entry. And Roger would be able to help Rick Hendrick and Jeff Gordon out on that front. But Kyle Larson has also competed in the 24 Hours Daytona multiple times, and they actually won it in 2015 and have one of the fastest speeds. He didn't just get up there because the team was better, because remember, Jamie McMurray was on his team as well, They went on to win the 2014 24 Hours of Daytona and won and were able to, and he was one of the fastest cars out there and had some of the top speeds in that event. So Kyle Larson would absolutely be a great choice for that. Now, there are other drivers, of course, you could go looking at. Maybe some of the guys like Chase Elliott would definitely be a really good choice if he could be available for that. But again, it will be dependent on the schedule if that is going to happen. But man, I cannot tell you how excited I am for this and how big the gravity of how big this is going to be for NASCAR as a whole to enter one of the most prestigious and one of the biggest events out there is absolutely huge. And not only that, but absolutely exciting as well. And I think this could lead to a future of NASCAR entering other sports car events like the 24 Hours Daytona. Maybe the 24 Hours of Nürburgring could be up for potential. 12-hour Sebring definitely would be for grabs. And maybe potential of an IMSA team in the near future. And Rick Hendrick expanding the sports cars and other motorsports. Maybe like Formula 1 could be up for grabs. Maybe for IndyCar. We really don't know that. But I cannot tell you how big this is for NASCAR to enter the 24 hours of Le Mans, one of the biggest events out there. It's huge, it's massive, and huge. Big props to Hendrick for this. This came, by the way, this is what I did not think was me. I thought NASCAR maybe was going to enter like a 12. It was going to enter a NASCAR Cup race at Sebring, maybe enter IMSA this year, maybe do something like that or enter in 2023. But to enter the 24 hours of Le Mans, yes, I know people are thinking, well, it's their own special class. They're not entering the GT class. I understand that, but people need to really take this as a huge deal. And huge congratulations on this project. This is huge, massive, and I'm very excited for this. This is a massive deal for the world of NASCAR and other motorsports as well. Huge announcement right here. So anyway, that's today's short NASCAR and IMSA news video. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notification on be notified when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on page as well. Let's get below over that and comment your thoughts on today's video. Do you think this car is going to finish whole 24 hours Le Mans 2023 or not? Let me know in the comments below. Tomorrow, we're going to have a massive wrap-up video on all the other NASCAR stories and other motorsport stories and myths that will be going up on the channel tomorrow morning. You should definitely check that out on my channel if you are new. So anyway, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's video. I'll see you guys next time for some great, awesome NASCAR and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.